Hey, yeah, YouTube. Welcome back to the main channel with your boy Ellis. We have a special type of video I'm going to be breaking down for you guys. I'm going to be giving you guys, let me fix my camera real quick. I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 1v1 players, and the difference with this video compared to any other top whatever list, I'm going to have resume. Everybody's wins and losses since next chapter's inception. So whether that would be a next chapter game, whether that's a video on your own channel, whether that's a June's League video, a off the dribble video, or a Baller's Life video, all 5 of those categories are included in games in the last since next chapter's inception, because that is kind of when the space started to shift and 1v1 started to be taken a lot more seriously in terms of win-loss column. So hit the like button, subscribe, let's get to the video, let's break down resumes, and you guys are going to be able to see everybody's win-loss when I show you how I broke everything down. So let's get right to the video. All right, so guys, obviously the first person I have to start off this top 10 is Nazir Kaur. All right, as you guys can see, he's beaten Scar twice, Frigga, Big Sal, Moon, a guy named Warren, Zuri, Shin. He lost to Frigga, Atlanta. These are all, whether that be 1v1 tour stops or next chapter stops, I'm including everything. So he went to Atlanta and won a game in the 1v1 tour. He went to Louisville and won a game in the 1v1 tour. He went to PG County twice, including a big one against Zeke. That's an overseas pro who has never lost a 1v1. And then he beat Simba, Clevante Brown in Cleveland. I mean, not in Cleveland, in Detroit. Just recently on the next chapter, he beat Burke in, what was that? Baller's Life Hoop Dreams. Lost to Zay. Isot, new on Baller's Life Hoop Dreams. Isot Joe, he skunked him. The London 1v1 that just occurred, he beat Nesco, Scoob, Hezzy twice, beat D-Bones, and lost to Ty Glover. So as we can see, Nas's 1v1 resume is absolutely absurd, and I don't really think there is even a debate onto whether or not like Nas is #1 on the scene, bro, in terms of his 1v1 ability, the way he's able to skate by defenders, utilize his body when need be to play a little bit of bully ball to get a shot off, or use his elusiveness in order to get a shot off, whether that be his hezzies, his snatches, his spins, his, you know what I'm saying? He's very, very elusive, and that's the thing about Nas. He could use his 220-pound frame to bump you and get you out the way, or he's very elusive and quick enough to get by you and utilize his skill set in order to get a bucket as well. So obviously Nas is going to be #1 on the scene. His resume since the inception of next chapter. Okay, he beat Jace, lost to Jason Rivera, lost to Fambi. You don't remember he lost to Fambi on his own channel, and we were kind of mad about that. Well, not we, I didn't. It didn't really affect me. I'm talking about fans who kind of thought that Frigga kind of took it easy on him, but nonetheless, a loss is a loss, because I can say the same thing about Nazir Kaur. No, I'm not saying. Now, the next person I have on this list is #2 is Devontae Frigga. And the reason why I have Devontae Frigga at #2 is because of this Nazir Kaur win. He beat 99 Jace. He lost to Jason Rivera and Fambi. Beat Nas. Lost to Moon. Beat Isote. Beat Rod. Lost to Simba. And you know his recent 1v1 in Minnesota. His recent 1v1 in Detroit with Next Chapter. He also beat Burke in Oklahoma. Beat BJ in the Rhode Island series, and also won his Rhode Island series 1v1 the day before. Lost to Nas and he beat J-Lu. If you guys don't know, become a member. You can watch that 1v1 on Next Chapter's members only channel. All right, so this is Devontae Frigga's resume as of the inception of Next Chapter. And the reason why I have Devontae at #2 is because we hold BJ to a high regard, and he beat BJ. We hold Nazir Kaur to a very, very high regard. He beat Nazir Kaur, but he also has Moon on his resume. He also has Isote on his resume, and Burke. And these are another 4 or 5 guys that we hold to a very, very high standard in terms of their 1v1 ability. So that's why I kind of have Frigga at #2, because he has these wins on his resume. Bless the truth. He has the Nas win on his resume, but also he has Moon, Isote, Burke, and BJ on his resume as well. So That's kind of the main reason I have Devontae Freak at number 2. So that Nas one I hold very high, and then if you could go into account the other wins that he has, like a BJ, Isot Moon, I kind of hold him. At number 2 for that. The next person I have is Rob Cologne. If you look at his resume, he has no losses, and obviously we all know his resume: Uncle Scoo, Day Day, Atlanta with Next Chapter, Baltimore with Next Chapter. He beat D Bones, beat Scar, and he beat Kel. Now, the only reason why I probably wouldn't have Rob at number 2 is because of his long hiatus, and also because of I kind of like. Obviously, he has 2 skunks on his resume with Uncle Scoob and Day Day, but with him being off for a long period of time, being off for a year, and his most recent 1v1 is D Bones in China. That's kind of the main reason why I had Rob at 5 at a point. I had Rob at 5 at a point before the D Bones 1v1, but once he showed me. I'm still Rob. I just beat D Bones, and D Bones is a hell of a player. D Bones has some guys on his resume that, he's beating some guys as well. So that's kind of the main reason I pushed Rob back up to 3, no losses, and then with the D Bones victory, I want to say a couple weeks ago, probably last month, but a couple weeks ago is when I saw it. You got to have Rob at number 3 at least. All right, so I have Nazir Core, Frigga, and then Rob as my top 3 1v1 players on YouTube. 4 on my list will be Nesco. And the reason why I have Nesco as number 4 on my list is because he has a lot of guys under his 1v1 resume. He has Kel, Moon twice, Scoob, Nas, a Nas loss, Trey, Fambi, Cam, Day-Day, Hezzy got Scar, CB was a loss, J.O. Dooley, and TD, that's a mess up on my part. He lost to a trainer on Baller's Life. His name was TD. So he has 3 losses on his resume, and he won his Next Chapter debut. I don't remember the guy. It was somebody they picked up out of the stands. So his resume is really, really good. The only thing about him is the amount of home games he had to start off his career in the Junes League to get guys in. But at the end of the day, those guys played those games, and as a result, he has them under his resume. You know what I'm saying? So Nesco will be my number 4 right now, based on his resume and what he's done for the community in terms of his wins. And, obviously he has a few losses on his resume, but when you play that many games, you're going to have 1v1 losses. So, Nesco will be my number 4. Now, starting off my number 5 is Uncle Scoob, bro. Like, Uncle Scoob goes every freaking where and plays. You have to take that into account when we talk about 1v1 resume. All right, so he has Rob, Nas, Nesco losses. Moon, beat Moon, lost to Moon. Rajon, Scar, Diesel, Cam, Kel. He lost to Kel twice, but one of them was controversial, but it's still a loss. D Bones, he lost to D Bones. Quincy, Splashy from London. These are all guys that Scoob has lined up and gone to their city and play. A1 Joe, he went to Louisville and won. Beat Ja, Zell, DJ, Germ these are all in the lab guys. DuckTales, JT on Baller's Life. Ja, another guy named John Baller's Life. He beat Ty Glover, and Ty Glover beat Nazir Core. He beat Malcolm twice. That was the lefty from Baller's Life. Beat Cam, a Free Smoke 1v1. I forget the name of the opponent. Zaire, Greg in Baltimore. And if you guys understand that beef, that was a big beef. And he came out on top in Baltimore against Greg, and he won the most recent 1v1 on Court Steppers, where he didn't even plan on playing, and he pulled out his sneakers and flat out washed the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I think Scoob is in my top 5 because he isn't afraid to go anywhere and play under any circumstances and play basketball. And you really got to take that to account when you're talking about a 1v1 guy. The only knock against Scoob is that he hasn't beaten any of the other top 3 guys, right? That's the only knock you could really give Scoob. He hasn't beaten Rob, Nas, or Nesco. And then the Nas game was a really good game. I believe it was 15-14. The Nesco game was 15-14, or 15-13, or not something like that. And Rob, I don't think if Rob and Scoob were to play again today, it wouldn't end in a skunk. It would not end in a skunk, bro. It would be a battle to the death. So I have Scoob rounding out my top 5, man. He just has too many games under his resume, and I only went 2 years in. I didn't count the Hezzy guy game 3 years ago. I didn't count a whole bunch of games on Uncle Scoob's resume. He probably has over 100 1v1s on his resume, man. So with the amount of games that he's played, the amount of environments that he's been in, you have to have him in the top 5 right now, because not only that, he's active right now. and he's on a tear right now. He's doing his thing right now. So I think this top 5 is a good top 5. I think with their resume and these guys having all this green within their resume, bro, that's the reason why I have these guys top 5. And Scoo probably rounds out my 5 because he hasn't beaten Nesco, Rob, or Nazir Kaur when he had the chance to. All right, so now we get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, we're going down to the top 10. We're at 6 now. And my number 6 is still Moon, bro. My number 6 is still Moon. People forget Moon because he hasn't been in the U.S. in a long time. He hasn't played a mono 1v1 in a long time since D-Stan. But let's look at Moon's resume. Lost to Nas, obviously. When was that? Early Next Chapter days. That might have been Wild Hunt days, so I probably shouldn't even count this 1v1, but I'm going to count it. Lost to Frigga, beat Frigga. Terry Hosley twice, and one of those times was in Terry Hosley's hometown in his event. That is something you really got to take into account. Lost to Nesco twice, but in one of those games, he didn't want to take the free throw. And we got mad at Moon for not taking the free throw. Beat D-Stan, beat Will Tunin, lost to Will Tunin on the Ball is Life King of the Court. Trevor Dunbar, Bird, who's a great win. Sauce in Memphis when Next Chapter was in Memphis. Beat J. Lou, that video's at 1 million views. Beat Hoodie Kel twice. Beat Fambi, lost to Fambi, beat Robbie. JJ, B-Hawk, Day twice. Trey Jefferson on his own channel. Baltimore, these are all Next Chapter games. Baltimore, Lancaster, Virginia. These are all Next Chapter games. Lost to D-Bones and Ty Glover, 2 players that are much bigger than him. Beat Malcolm twice, and he lost to Isot on More Than a Run. So in my opinion, man, it's just another thing about resume, man. We've seen Moon in every single situation. We've seen him in the trenches. We've seen him everywhere. We've seen him everywhere, bro. We've seen him in every situation when the odds are stacked against him. And as a result, man, I got to have him in the top 6, bro. And he's had quality wins. Frigga is a great win. To me, beating Day twice is good. Beating Hoodie Kel twice is good. Beating Terry Hose in his hometown is good. The only bad loss he has is probably a Will Tunin. That's it. And I'm not even trying to bring up, like, in my opinion, I don't think Moon should have lost that game when I watched that game. But Will was on 10, and Will got the job done. So, so Moon is in my top 6, man. Coming up at my number 7, I have Isot, bro. And I know a lot of people, I don't know what it is with Isot. With some people, I don't know if he's like unlikable by some people, but I love Isot's game, man. So if you look at his resume, he honestly has a really good resume. He has a really good resume. He lost to Nas, lost to Frigga, lost to Walt twice, and lost to a guy named Jason, but he ended up beating Jason on his own channel. But he has good wins. He has Keyshawn on his resume. He has Nori on his resume, Fredo in Baltimore, DJ, Moon, Island Boy Q, Virgil, I forgot, that might have been in Atlanta. Mike Harden is on his resume, and Josh Treadwell, who he played on More Than a Run. So I like Isot's resume in terms of, and then we all seen the Frigga 1v1 where he lost by a point and he was up 10 and Frigga hit 4 straight threes. So I don't know, man. I have Isot as my number 7, and we've seen Isot in a plethora of situations where the game is not going his way, and he's come back and he's won. Or we've seen him in a situation where he's not made shots and he's won a game. We've seen him in situations where he's had to overcome adversity and win a game, and we've also seen him lose games and things of that nature. So we've had a full dose of Isot within this entire space. So Isot will probably be my number 7. At number 8 for me would be Zay. Zay would be number 8, and the reason why will be strictly because of resume. He has a good resume. He has Nas, Scoob, Scar, and Bird on it, right? But it's only 4 games compared to guys who have played so many games. And what I mean by that is they've been in so many situations. We've seen guys when their shot isn't falling. We've seen guys when they're being shifted and they've had to figure it out. We've seen these other 7 guys in situations where they've had to overcome some type of adversity and still win a game. And we've seen them in multiple situations, right? And then, let me see. I just can't put him with it. I just can't put him above these guys because he's had 2 1v1s this year, and he had 2 1v1s last year. When these guys have been putting in a lot of work and been in every situation and had great wins throughout their career, I can't put him above these guys yet. Although he's had great wins, the Nas win, although we say Nas is hurt, etc., he still beat Nas. The Scoo win is a good one as well. Scars a good win. Bird's a good win. But as of right now, I can't put him above these guys strictly because of the resume. Strictly because of that. All right, so see here. And a lot of you are going to say, well, Rob, why is Rob top 3? Why is Rob, etc., etc.? Because Rob has 2 skunks on his resume. 2 skunks. And we've seen him on Next Chapter for many, many seasons in the tag team 1v1s and all of that. So that's the reason why I still have Rob top 3. My number 9 is BJ, man. My number 9 is BJ, man. So obviously he only has the Frigga loss on his resume. Draco, he won in Minnesota. He beat Caleb Huffman. And we all know how you guys feel about Caleb Huffman. And he also has a 1v1 on Street Stars as well, where he played a guy named Wardy in Virginia. He ended up winning that game. So BJ is my number 9, bro. The dude can hoop. The dude has, obviously I didn't put him above any of these guys here because obviously resume purposes and because of the Frigga loss. But, man, BJ can get going, and the more BJ is on this scene, he will show his abilities. So BJ is going to be my number 9, man. He can shoot the basketball. He's tall. He's elusive. He'll dunk you. It's just things of that nature, man. He could defend when he wants to defend. So, yeah, BJ will probably be my number 9 in the top 10 1v1 players right now on the scene. Number 10 right now will be Cam So Smooth. My number 10 right now will be Cam So Smooth. I feel like Cam So Smooth is a energy player. Cam So Smooth is a high-intensity player. So if you look at his resume, he lost to Mike Harden, beat Mike Harden, lost to Kel. I'm sorry, he lost to Kel. My bad on that right there. Beat Ray Elliott, beat Isot A1, beat me, beat Purdy, beat Clamp God, lost to Trey, lost to Nesco, lost to Hezzy God, won in Charlotte. I believe that was with Next Chapter. Won in Lancaster with Next Chapter. Lost in Atlanta in the 1v1 tour. Won in Virginia with Next Chapter. Beat Boogeyman in the 1v1 tour. Lost in Minnesota. Lost Uncle Scoob. Lost to Iso Hove. And beat a guy named Rel on his channel. I just think in terms of his ability to score the basketball, his ability to bring high energy to his 1v1s, and his ability to get to the mid-range and exploit that is something I really take into account. And then I looked at other guys' resume as well. It just isn't as long and as extensive as a Cam So Smooth. So I will have him. Although he had a rough patch this year, every player is going to go through a rough patch unless you're like Nas, you know what I'm saying, who has the prototypical 1v1 build. And Nas has yet to play, in my opinion, other than Zay. Zeke is his size. Clevante Braun is his size. Simba is bigger than him, so I'm lying about that. He has played guys his size, if not bigger. But that's my top 10 right now, so let me go ahead and X this out real quick or minimize it. Here's my top 10 1v1 players. I have Nazir Core, Frigga, Rob, Nesco, Scoob, Moon, Isotate, Zay, BJ, and Cam. If you have any, look at, I didn't even include, Uncle Scoob has beaten Mike Harden and P-Sean. Like, Uncle Scoob has played so many games, bro. So, yeah, this is my top 10 1v1 players. Let me know your top 10 down below in the comment section, man. It took a little minute to create this. I'm not going to lie to you. So, hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section. See you guys in the next video. Now, listen, Never Defeated family. This is how we're going to do King of 1v1 in 2025. If you don't know what King of 1v1 is, 2025, we're going to take the top 10 players of the 1v1 scene, compare their resumes, and then crown King of 1v1 as in the MVP of 1v1 of 2025. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a panel of 5 to 6 people, and we're going to add the fans in as well to cast their vote, and the fans will have a percentage of the vote as well. We're going to take fan donations, and we're going to give that pot to the player of the best 1v1 player that year. I want to give guys an incentive to go out there and compete at a high level and play everybody, play big games, not only on pay-per-views, but in seasons, on their own channel, on tours, etc., etc. Right? So King of 1v1 is going to be very, very fun. We're going to find a panel of 5 to 6 people that are in tune with YouTube basketball and really care about YouTube basketball and want to push the space forward. And we're going to include the fans as well, give the fans a percentage of the vote, and ask the fans to donate whatever money is donated will be given to the player, and they will be the MVP of 1v1s in 2025. We're also going to do some other things as well, whether that be crown the defensive player of the year, team player of the year, things of that nature as well, rookie of the year. So be locked in with that.